Good afternoon. I took a break from making a video yesterday as I was out on the water all day. In the back of my head I was kind of thinking about what would be the next fly that I tied up here, and the question was kind of answered for me because we had some success yesterday with this pattern. This fly is called a snot dart. Probably not the most attractive name. I know my wife really loves it when I discuss it. I really don't know the history of this fly. I don't know where it originated. In fact, if anybody kind of knows, I'd love to hear about it. Leave me a comment. It's a fly that just sort of popped up on my radar here the last couple months. In particular, here a while back, I was fishing with my buddy John, and we'd been catching fish, but there was a period there where it kind of slowed down. There was fish around, but we just weren't able to get them. And he kind of dug deep in his box and he found this pattern, the snot dart, that he had it from a fly swap or something, I believe, and just sort of a Hail Mary, he threw it on, and he actually picked up a handful of fish where they were not touching anything I was showing them. So I added some to my box, and I hadn't really fished it a whole lot until yesterday, and it paid off for us. Again, it wasn't hot and heavy, but fishing wasn't hot and heavy at all day yesterday, but this fly picked up fish when nothing else would. So it's a real simple pattern. It just has some white marabou tail, a thread body, and a little orange estaz for a collar. You can add a rib, you could use a floss body, you could change it however you want. I keep it simple, and this has worked for me. You can tie them up in bunch of different color combinations. I have quite a few that I've been experimenting with, but this particular one is the one that is produced for us, so thought I'd give it a whirl. So to start out with, I've got this is a Daiichi 2546 hook. I've got the barb mashed down already, and with a 5/32 inch brass cone. Got some Vivus 8/0 red thread here. This is really good thread. I've just started using this Vivus stuff sparingly in the last year or so, and the more I use it, the more I like it. Just great color, really strong for an 8/0 thread, ties down nice. Big fan of this stuff. So to get started, just as usual, lay down a little thread base. And I'm going to go with a white marabou for the tail. Like I said, you can do these in all kinds of color combos. I've got some yellows and olives, black and red versions tied up. I just haven't had a chance to fish them all just yet, but hopefully I'll change that. This is kind of just a really good, in my opinion, kind of an attractor pattern, sort of a working the beach, searching to find fish, a pattern where you can throw on when just nothing else is producing, maybe show them something a little different. It's definitely got kind of a bait fish profile, and depending on the colors you tie it up in, it'll represent probably all kinds of different things. So I tied the marabou, as I always do, all the way up, to keep the body nice and uniform. Now I'm going to add in just a single strand of UV crystal flash. I put this stuff in a lot of my flies. I'm just going to tie a long strand in, and as usual I tie it just beyond the length of the tail. I'm going to tie it in on the near side, and then just fold it over and get it on the far side as well. Just always like to have a little bit of flash. So now I'm just going to take with my thread and make the body. Like I said, you can certainly add a ribbing, like a wire rib or something, maybe to toughen this up. I tend to just kind of stick with the thread. course, like I said, you can do this. I've got some with like a olive body with a yellow tail. You know, I have to experiment. That's good enough. I did my glue. I'm going to put a little bit of Sally Hansen's on here just to toughen it up. I suppose I probably should just use a UV cure so it'll cure up nice and smooth, but I don't know. The hydro, clear cure goo hydro that I have is pretty expensive, so I have a hard time wasting it on little cutthroat flies if I don't need to. So now I'm just putting in some orange Estaz. I like to tie it kind of in under the bead if I can, or the cone if I can. And then we're just going to get don't take too much, a couple wraps of this, 3, 4, whatever. You be the judge. I tend to do about 3. Trim that. Couple more wraps, and then I'm just gonna throw on a little whip finish and a little bit of Sally Hansen's. Like I said, very, very easy fly to tie. Just a solid little pattern. The more I fish it, the more I kind of like it. Easy to tie. If you lose one, you're not going to cry about it. And fish seem to like it so far. So there you go. A snot dart. Give this one a whirl, add a few to your box, pull it out maybe on those desperation days. It might just pay off. If it works for you, I'd love to hear about it. And like I said, if you know anything about the history of this fly, I enjoy hearing that. I like to know who designed these things as I tie them, and you know, I want to be able to give credit where credit is due. I certainly didn't design it. If you like this style of video, you'd like me to do more, leave me a comment, let me know. I'd love to have any feedback, positive, negative. I'm a big boy, I can take it. If there's any type of fly that you'd like to see tied, I would definitely be willing to consider suggestions or requests. So, as always, thanks for watching.